RioPlex Economic Development and CIL Economic Development. Developmental Solutions, the groundbreaking of a new cold storage distribution center. We have plenty of great people from RioPlex that are going to be joining us. And one of those people is Mario Reyna, who is joining us now to talk about RioPlex. Take us back to the start of RioPlex, the need for it, the environment for it. How did it come to be?
Thank you for allowing me to be here today. And if it goes back a few years, the Judge Richard Cortez had this desire to lower the poverty level in Hidalgo County. And so he created the Prosperity Task Force a few years ago. So we started the work of the Prosperity Task Force. And along the line, we discovered that we needed the CEOs to be part of what we were doing. So we created a group of people like Joaquin Spammer and Carlos Canales and Jim Collins. So they came together and they said, one of the biggest problems we have is no one knows where we are. And so I said, what do you mean by that? Yes, when we go out and try to sell the region, no one knows where we are. And what we have to sell is not big enough for them. If we belong to a city like Mission or FAR or whatever, and we say we have 100,000 people, what's that in a city of 100, a city of 20 million people when you go to China, when you go to some places like that? So he said, we need a bigger market. So we went about and we came up with the name RioPlex. We had a marketing committee. We discussed many names, and that's what we came up with. When we came up with the name RioPlex, the CEO said, we like this name, and this is where we are now. So why RioPlex? Because we're promoting everything from Roma to Brownsville, from Miguel Alemán to Matamoros. So when you combine all this region, you have about 3.5 million people. You have seaports, you have airports, you have SpaceX. We were in SpaceX a few hours ago showing these folks what it looked like, and they were totally blown out of the water because of all the construction that's going on. We took them to the port of Brownsville, and they tell us that they have over $30 billion worth of new projects coming there. So that's something that is incredible. But what's more incredible is that the people that work there right now, as for the LNG operations, 71% of the people that work there are folks from this area, from the RioPlex area. And the same thing is true with SpaceX. Latest information that I have, about 80% of the employees at SpaceX are folks from this region. So we have a lot to offer. We have the right capital. We have the right human capital. Everything is in the right place.
What would you say are the biggest priorities that RioPlex has right now in developing our area?
Well, obviously the biggest priorities is about 3 to 4% of the population in the RioPlex area, at least on the Texas side, they work in manufacturing. A normal percentage would be about 12%. So obviously, we need to raise the levels in the manufacturing arena. So that's what RioPlex is all about. It's an industrial promotion to bring more industry into this region. So those are the priorities. This one here, La Bonanza, is a distribution, it's a logistics operation. So these folks move and they import avocados from Mexico. And anyone that follows avocados, we know that avocados are an everyday thing for most of the Americans, and that we import in America about 88% of the avocados. So these folks are going to play a big role with the avocados.
Mario Reyna is executive director of I've been referring to it as a private sector economic development initiative called RioPlex, and very blessed to be a part of this story that is unfolding. It started this year, and we continue with the united efforts of businesses that are working, they're competitors. They're investors who are competitors, but they're working with each other for the sake of selling northern Mexico and southern Texas. So today, this broadcast at La Bonanza, this distribution, this cold storage and distribution center for all these avocados coming in from Michoacan. We have when you were making reference to visiting SpaceX and visiting the port, You were talking about the delegation from Michoacan.
Yes.
The investors, the
Yes.
Bonanza owners, other growers.
Right.
It's a sizable delegation. And I knew when they got here, as I said last hour, because they had all the kids with them, the huerquillos, all the children, the family showing up. So tell me more about this outreach to Michoacan, the relationships that are some years old, some newly forged, and what else could we glean from the Michoacan harvest, all the crops that are coming in from Mexico?
Absolutely. So obviously there's more than avocados that come from that region. So you have limes and all kinds of mangoes and whatnot. But the relationship here is between, Joaquin and a key member of the Michoacan delegation. So they've been talking to each other. And so the purpose of taking them to see SpaceX, the purpose of taking them to see the Port of Brownsville, so they can see the amount of investment that is taking place in the region, and so they can see that people are coming here, they're investing, so they should not obviously.
Let me get the microphone closer to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, they should not have any concerns about this area not doing well in the future, because we're going to do well. If you invest money in this region, you're going to do well. You're not going to have a problem finding the right qualified personnel to work for you, because if we can support SpaceX, if we can support the Port of Brownsville, obviously we can support their operations. So that was the reason for doing that particular activity. We want to show them that we have all the capabilities of supporting their business.
So who gets to decide what goes where? We're selling ourselves as a region, and how is it distributed in that way?
Well,
depending on obviously the strengths.
The investor gets to decide where they go. All we do is showcase the region, and like the judge says, this is the mall. You go put the store wherever you want to at the mall. So they come, we take them all over the place. They meet all the developers. And that's what we're doing. And even today, I mean, there's a bunch of developers here that are here because they want to be part of this. So this is just one particular activity, but there's a lot of investors here from Michoacan right now, and they're going to make other investments perhaps. And so this is the whole idea behind it.
Did you actually take them to the mall in McAllen? They got the Lego store for the kids, and Auntie Anne's with the pretzels and all those things.
No, I didn't take it.
Mario Reyna is the executive director for the private sector economic development push known as RioPlex. They're selling our region, southern Texas and northern Mexico. The big kickoff, and we were so blessed to be with you in Houston back in April. And many of those conversations with local leadership and other folks in the region, you can see those on 710 KURV, our YouTube channel, X, as well as we had that full day of broadcasts from Houston. Back then, the push was with attachés, with trade attachés from various countries. And like in sales, right?
Yeah.
You need to make like 15 or 20 calls to get one sale or two sales.
Yeah.
The math was right. So of all the 15 countries,
Right.
you were able to land like two good prospects,
Right.
and you continue to work those prospects to see if we get some from those countries.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, so obviously we were informed that in Houston you have about 30 consulates. About 14 or 15 of the consulates came over, and we still have communication with a few of them. And that's very interesting that they continue that conversation. So the next project that we're looking at perhaps in the spring is going to Mexico City and talk to the business attachés at the embassies and continue that kind of conversation. There's more embassies obviously in Mexico City than Houston. So we're going to do something like that. It's in the books, and later on, once we have an official time and date, we'll notify the
Other conversations that they've had at RioPlex is how are we doing on time?
No, we're fine.
You're good.
We got like 5
The
minutes.
auto sector. I know you've had conversations about being so close to San Antonio, so close to Austin, the Giga Truck Factory, Toyota up there, and all these potential suppliers that we could lure in a new environment that is more America manufacturing, America first manufacturing, trying to incentivize manufacturing on this area. What has come of those conversations, maybe being part of that 250-mile radius from San Antonio to feed in?
Absolutely. So we have another fantastic group in the region by the name of COSTEP. Region, I think South Texas, that's what they call themselves. And they have taken on that initiative to work with the clusters, and Adam Gonzalez and his team, they're working real good. They're making all those contacts. So I believe that all those things that they're doing are going to help us very much.
I want to touch on another low piece of low-hanging fruit. It's the high-tech sector, computer chip manufacturing, data centers. At South Texas College, we had a fascinating conversation the other day. So they're going to be teaching robotics and mechatronics. Mechatronics, a collection of engineering and all sorts of fancy schmancy, production of computers and tools and machinery. So that to me is screaming volumes of what is happening behind the scenes with economic development entities, preparing the curriculum to feed into high tech in South Texas. There could be feeding into Elon Musk, but there's so much potential for a chip manufacturer in the area and data centers.
Absolutely. So those programs that you're talking about, I started those programs when I was there, so they're working well, and there are programs that are needed in the community. So that, like December 2nd, we're going to have a meeting with the workforce development group with the specific purpose of talking about the programs that are coming to the Port of Brownsville and SpaceX. We need new programs that we need to talk about to make sure they get started. So when the real need arrives, those students will be prepared to go and work in those industries. So specifically, we're looking at process engineering. We're looking at more high-tech welding. We're looking at wastewater and those kind of things, technicians. So there's a lot of new programs that we're going to talk about. And so I'll let you know when we have the meeting. Perhaps you want to join us.
Please do. We'd love to be a part of it.
Reyna is with RioPlex. We're learning about how RioPlex affects our area and how it's being sold. Last time we spoke at the groundbreaking in Brownsville, you mentioned that a lot of the guys involved in selling our area, they kind of have to travel. They have to be able to travel independently and kind of pull their own weight. As part of this is when we start selling ourselves abroad. Is there a minimum to the group that gets sent out there? Hey, we need to have like 5 guys out here. We need these people to go out.
Absolutely. So whenever we decide to go to a particular area, people that are familiar with that area, that have contacts in those areas, they will obviously want to come along with us. So that's the idea behind the ambassadors. Everybody brings a special skill, a special talent, and they will know, hey, we're going this particular location. Who has contacts in those locations? Come with us. And then, of course, we're going to make special contact with the people that we need to go talk to, so they can meet with us. So if we can take a collective body of individuals that have a interest in that location, I think we're going to do much well.
We're coming up on the end of the year. Are there any more goals to be met before the year is over? Anything that spills over into 2026 that really need to be accomplished right now?
There's internal things that we need to do. We're working on the development of the organization. We're developing the website. We're developing internal things that we need to work on to make sure we communicate better with everybody. So those internal things are happening. But at the same time, we're looking at the future, and we have those particular plans right now to go to Mexico City. And so those are some of the 2 or 3 key priorities that we're working on right now.
Got to ask you, for any business owner or folks who have capital sitting on the sidelines and wish to be part of the team, maybe become one of the ambassadors for RioPlex, which means as an ambassador, on your own dime, go with the RioPlex team and other local leadership when a trade mission to Paris or a trade mission to Argentina, whatever, to go sell and bring to the area, go bring the fruits of that. So to join,
Absolutely.
What do you do?
So basically, if you want to be if you want to be an ambassador, obviously let us know, and then we'll evaluate who you are, and then the board will look to see what it is that you can contribute to RioPlex, because as we're talking, you must be able to do things on your own. We must be able to recognize that you have some particular set of skills that you're going to bring to the organization. And once we do all those little steps, then we'll say, okay, fantastic, you can be part of RioPlex.
Like the terms and sales, what we kill, we eat as a collective. So for your business, whether it's in distribution or engineering, whatever type of business you have in South Texas, we bring it here. We all receive the blessings.
And the other thing, obviously, we want to invite folks to be members of RioPlex. So if you're interested in being a member, obviously give us a call, and we'll talk to you.
Mario Reyna, Executive Director from RioPlex. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
For joining us.
Appreciate it.